The Bracero Migration Project, 1942 to 1964. Welcome back to the channel just out of curiosity. Have you heard of the Bracero Migration Project? This was one of the largest temporary work programs in history, which brought millions of Mexican agricultural workers to the United States in the mid-20th century. A landmark, but also controversial, chapter in the history of both countries. Today, we explore how and why this program was created, what it meant to the workers involved, and how it has shaped labor and immigration relations to this day. During World War II, the United States faced an unprecedented labor shortage. With so many men fighting abroad, who would be responsible for harvesting the crops that supported the country's economy? It was amid this scenario that, in 1942, the United States and Mexico signed a historic agreement, the Bracero Program. The goal was simple, at least in theory: bring in Mexican workers to fill the gap in the American agricultural workforce. Arrival of the Braceros. The word bracero comes from the Spanish brazo, meaning arm, symbolizing the manual labor these men would perform. From 1942 to 1964, about 4.6 million contracts were signed, bringing Mexican workers to U.S. farms. They were promised fair wages, adequate housing and safe working conditions. A tempting opportunity for many who faced economic difficulties in their hometowns. Reality in the fields. But not everything was as simple as it seemed on paper. Although the program provided employment opportunities and a source of income for many, the reality in the American camps was often brutal. The Braceros faced grueling days under the scorching sun, salaries below what had been promised, and precarious housing, often crammed into tents or makeshift shelters. Many had to deal with exposure to pesticides without any protective equipment, resulting in serious health problems. Additionally, there were reports of discrimination and abuse by some employers. In many cases, braceros had their wages withheld or were forced to pay for basic services that should be free, such as food and housing. Without many rights and in fear of retaliation, these workers had little power to demand better conditions. The life of braceros. Despite the difficulties, many braceros returned to the program year after year. For many of them, work in the United States, although difficult and exhausting, offered a source of income that was impossible to find in their home country. They sent money to their families in Mexico, helping to support entire communities. But the life of a bracero was marked by uncertainty. The contracts were temporary, and with each new harvest cycle, they didn't know if they would be hired again. The uncertainty extended to the presence in the United States itself. They were guest workers, but always under the condition that they were temporary, that they were there only as long as they were needed. The end of the program and its legacy. The Bracero program came to an end in 1964, after more than 2 decades of operation. There was increasing pressure from unions and labor rights groups who claimed the program was being used to keep wages low and prevent the hiring of American workers. At the same time, criticism of the inhumane conditions faced by braceros increased public awareness of the abuses committed. Despite its ending, the program's legacy is profound. He shaped immigration and temporary labor practices in the United States and left a mark on both American and Mexican communities. Many braceros remained in the United States after the program ended, becoming an integral part of the country's social and economic fabric. The program also shed light on the difficulties faced by migrant workers, an issue that remains relevant today. Conclusion. The Bracero Migration Project is a reminder of the complex relationship between the United States and Mexico, especially when it comes to labor and immigration. He shows us how economic necessity can lead to immigration policies that benefit some but at the expense of many. It is an important part of history that we must know and understand so that we can learn from the mistakes of the past and seek a fairer future for everyone. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like and share so that more people learn about this little discussed part of the story. Subscribe to the channel for more revealing stories and activate the bell so you don't miss our next videos. This was another, Just for Curiosity, story. Until next time.